team is the star. They want to press out of a mid-block, route Sporting Kansas City's possession into predictable areas, win the ball, and then break. Go direct, go over the top, and once you're in the final third, repress, try to trap Sporting Kansas City there, and benefit from that. Now remember, Klaus had 2 goals against Sporting Kansas City, so he's on form, feeling confident.
He sure did. These two sides met 3 times this season. St. Louis took the series 2-1. First meeting, Kalen, was May 20th, the topic of our flashback, brought to you by JCPenney. Roman Berkey standing on his head, 7 saves in St. Louis's 4-0 win over SKC.
Yeah, and Andrew, you mentioned the team is the star and that's their moniker. I'm not so sure about that. Look at this guy in net. I mean, Roman Berkey has just been tremendous all season long. Gonna win goalkeeper of the year, I think, and you can almost just take the highlights from this single match as a reason for it. It's just unbelievable to keep them in this. Then they start pushing forward with those waves and the attack. Ended up running Sporting Kansas City off the pitch.
Now, on the flip side, Tim Melia is an absolute game changer in penalty kicks. And in this series, all 3 games could conceivably go to the spot. Melia has never lost in his MLS career. 7 wins, no losses. Had the most recent win in the wild card game against San Jose.
Melia, the best PK save percentage this league has ever seen. And he is, of course, in net tonight for Sporting Kansas City. But, Kalen, they're missing 2 important pieces.
Yeah, 2 important pieces. And that's where the wild card game can become an issue because you start to lose a few players, taking knocks. Eric Tommy with the calf, starting on the bench. Johnny Russell, that's the big one for me because he's been the lifeline, the heart, the creative engine of this team. Kyrie Shelton steps in his place, but that's a little bit of the concern for Vermees, having to rotate the team coming off a 3-match week.
More to come here on our pregame show. 41 degrees and rain is not stopping the fans in St. Louis. Weeby, what's the lobster about?
It's red and you don't want to get caught by the claws.
Ah, got it. Thank you.
It's not just designed to look good. It's built to command attention. It's not just a comfortable interior. It's a quiet refuge. They're not just headlights. They light the way forward. The new fully electric Audi Q8 e-tron models.
For 120 years, JCPenney has been there for you for every holiday, helping your family make every gift special, every moment matter, and every dollar count. So now's the time to get the sweater that hugs you back, bake the cookies that melt your heart, rock the looks that make a statement, give the gift that pops the question, and cherish the morning you'll always remember. For all the ways you celebrate, JCPenney, make your holidays count.
I was dancing when I was 12.
Join the legend Lionel Messi as he embarks on his historic next chapter with Apple TV Plus's new documentary series, Messi Meets America. Follow along Messi's journey as he takes North America and MLS by storm, ushering in a new era with his Inter Miami teammates. The series is streaming now, only on Apple TV Plus. More episodes are coming on November 1st, and by then we will know, is Messi an 8-time Ballon d'Or winner? On this very same night, Orlando City taking on Nashville SC, a battle of the 2 versus the 7 seeds, and the next game after that, the final one on that Monday night, Seattle Sounders taking on FC Dallas. Earlier today, kicking off this soccer Sunday, 4th in the West, Houston taking on the 5th seed, Real Salt Lake, and it was Houston's Amin Bassi, Kalen, who was the difference in the final few minutes.
Yeah, they had to work for it. Went up a goal and then get hit on the counter, had 74% possession, but Bassi finds an important goal in the end.
2-1, the final. Game 2 will be next Monday. Then at TQL Stadium, the first ever playoff game for FC Cincinnati, Andrew. And check this highlight out. And who finds the ball? Lucho Acosta. 43.5 yards, the final 3-0.
You knew he was going to hit that one. Sealed it with the second goal. 3 goals total for Cincinnati. Home team's reigning supreme. The Shield winners say, hey, we haven't played a competitive game for a month. We got this.
Saturday, November 4th, the series will shift to Red Bull Arena. Ozzie Smith in the any more motivation.
You know, George Brett was in the KC Stadium.
Woo! Let's send it out to the manager, Bradley Cornell.
More for the community of what we've built around, you know, the foundations that we stand for. And I think we've proven that over the course of the season, that we're here to excite, we're here to ignite, we're here to just energize the fans. And I think, you know, the fans have helped us a massive bunch. And tonight we're going to need the fans as well. And we're expecting, you know, just to continue where we left off in terms of the standings of the Western Conference. You know, we believe that we were worthy of every one of those points have achieved. And we're excited about putting our first foot forward here and feeling what playoffs is all about.
Peter, momentum's a funny thing in this game. You've won 6 of your last 9. How does that carry over to tonight?
I think, obviously, we were on a mission, right, trying to get into the playoffs. I think last game emotionally was a really tough game for us because, you know, you come off of accomplishing your mission, getting the playoffs. Now you're in, but still got to go through that big game, and I think that was a little draining. I think this has got a different flavor to it from the perspective of it's 3 games. And you got to be able to manage it. We got to be able to manage ourselves from our last one to go to this one. Obviously, this team is the best in the West. They've been very, very good here, and we're just still trying to claw and fight, you know, our way in. And that's what the game's going to be for us.
St. Louis City set the expansion record with 17 victories this season. Kalen, make a run in the playoffs.
Well, I think, you know, from listening to Vermees there, they seemed a little bit not in the best space as far as being able to start these players. And if you go into this environment in St. Louis, they could run you over. We saw them do that earlier this year, so I'd be concerned right now.
If you're St. Louis, the last thing you want in your first season is to lose your first playoff series and get knocked as the 1 seed by your rival. This is not a pressureless moment for St. Louis. Got to perform in front of their home fans. I think they'll do it. I think they'll win game 1.
Battle of the Midwest on the other side of break. St. Louis City taking on Sporting Kansas City. Thanks for joining us.
There are trucks, then there's the truck, GMC Sierra. Available with the V8 engine. The Super Cruise hands-free driving experience. And of course, the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. GMC Sierra. Not just any truck, the truck.
How will I know where to start? Striving for more isn't just for the field, it's for life. Know more with RBC Wealth Management.
Welcome to the Audi 2023 MLS Cup playoffs. Welcome to St. Louis, Missouri, a city that nobody thought would be hosting this game. But after a dream regular season, expansion side St. Louis City SC enters the playoffs as the top seed in the Western Conference, something no preseason prognosticator predicted. Their opponent, their cross-state rival, the 8th seed, maybe the hottest team in the conference, Sporting Kansas City. It's match 1 of round 1. St. Louis City hosting Sporting Kansas City. Good evening from City Park. Alongside Taylor Twellman, I'm Jake Sivan. Ozzie Smith, the Wizard, is here. The St. Louis Cardinal legend, the Hall of Famer, the 1982 World Series champion, trying to spur St. Louis City onto similar postseason success on a rainy night in Missouri. There's a new playoff format this year. Round 1 is a best-of-3 series. The first to 2 wins advances to the conference semifinals. No draws. If tied after 90 minutes, it goes straight to a penalty shootout. Match 1 tonight, match 2 on Sunday in Kansas City. If necessary, match 3 back here on November 11th. These teams met 3 times in the regular season, all won by the home team, including 2 games last month. Taylor, first in Kansas City, a 2-1 win for Sporting KC.
And this one was coming off a 4-0 loss in May. That was a little bit of redemption for Sporting Kansas City and Peter Vermees, even after an early goal from Sam Adeniran. Alan Pulido with a brace that, according to Peter Vermees, postgame officially made this a rivalry as they return the favor, they return the serve after losing that 4-0 loss here at City Park in St. Louis, Missouri. But then it was the game in September that was a reminder from St. Louis City that they were going to be the best in the West. Scoreless after 73 minutes, and then in the blink of an eye, in the next 12 minutes, St. Louis City, they scored 4 goals, led by a brace from João Klaus that led to Bradley Carnell and company locking up the #1 seed in the Western Conference and setting an expansion record in Major League Soccer with 17 wins in 2023.
It's 40 degrees. It is dumping rain. It's 9:30 local time on a Sunday night. None of that has dampened the atmosphere. The crowd at City Park sold out once again. Starting 11s for tonight's match, beginning with St. Louis City. 2 changes, Taylor, from the team that lost on decision day to Seattle 2-0. Jared Stroud, Indiana Vassilev back in.
Only 1-4 though, with Klaus and Jackson underneath. Vassilev and Stroud vital for City off the ball in pressing moments. Leuven's going to be playing a little bit deeper. That means more touches, but does that mean he's more influential? And Nerwinski in it right back because of his MLS playoff experience with the Vancouver Whitecaps and his ability to defend in transition.
Meanwhile, for Peter Vermees and Sporting Kansas City on just 3 days rest after defeating San Jose in penalties in the wild card match on Wednesday. 2 changes, big ones. Designated players Johnny Russell and Eric Tommy starting on the bench tonight.
Rotation of the squad normal, but this team's in great form, winning 6 of their last 9 to get into the playoffs. And Dembe and Davis, so important for this team going forward, but can they defend the space behind them? Rodoya, in his 8 years of experience in La Liga, is going to be vital for this team. But Gadi Kinda, only 1 goal in his last 14 appearances. He's got to be more dynamic going forward.
These are the players to watch, presented by RBC Wealth Management, proud partner of Major League Soccer. For St. Louis, Edouard Leuven.
And the finalist for MLS Newcomer of the Year has been a real revelation for St. Louis City and Bradley Carnell. 6 goals, 14 assists on the season is nothing to sneeze at. Great ability to play both ways in this system, but having real quality. Yet keep in mind, he's only got 1 goal since July 15th. If City's going to be the force to reckon with in the Western Conference, Leuven's got to be the driver of that force, because for Sporting Kansas City, that force has been driven by Alan Pulido, the finalist for MLS Comeback Player of the Year after a knee injury that lingered into 2023. His first goal was on May 7th. He's got 15 goals in all competitions, a complete forward, a complete number 9. Vermees hopes that Pulido can find one in the back of the net tonight. Those are the players to watch, presented by RBC Wealth Management, proud partner of Major League Soccer.
This is what it's all about, playoff time in St. Louis. Might it come down to penalties? It did for Kansas City on Wednesday night. The hero, as he has been so many times, Tim Melia, the goalkeeper. A cheat code in penalties for KC. If it gets there tonight, watch out. We'll find out. Kickoff coming up in minutes from City Park.
There are trucks, then there's the truck, GMC Sierra. Available with the V8 engine. The Super Cruise hands-free driving experience. And of course, the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. GMC Sierra. Not just any truck, the truck.
To get where you want to be, you need something that gets you going and keeps you going on the path to your true potential. You need a spotter, a running mate, a loyal companion. You need Celsius. Every drop is essential. Celsius, essential energy.
Elie can win MLS Cup with this kick.
Game on the line. How do I make the smart choice? I remember what's worked and what hasn't. This goalie knows exactly where I'm going to shoot. He's smart, but hesitant. I'm not, or I'm right, all in. So let it fly.
Yes! What a smart choice by Elie!
Continental, the smart choice in tires.
What an atmosphere at City Park for match one of round one in the Western Conference playoffs. The fifth match so far. Philadelphia got going with a 3-1 win over New England yesterday. LAFC 5-2 over Vancouver. Houston 2-1 earlier today over Salt Lake, and a match that just ended, Cincinnati taking down the New York Red Bulls 3-0. All the home teams, all the favored teams taking match one so far. Will St. Louis do the same in their first ever playoff match? Or will Kansas City pull an upset? We find out in minutes.
Goals aren't just planned for the field, they're planned for life. No more with RBC Wealth Management.
It's not just designed to look good. It's built to command attention. It's not just a comfortable interior. It's a quiet refuge. They're not just headlights. They light the way forward. The new fully electric Audi Q8 e-tron models.
Meet the Chevy ZR2 family. They'll never let you down. With features like D-Auto HD ZR2 family of trucks.
This is the head-to-head presented by GMC. We are professional grade. Both St. Louis City and Sporting Kansas City have potential match-winning goalkeepers. For Sporting Kansas City, for St. Louis City, Roman Berkey, goalkeeper of the year finalist, may be the front runner. For Sporting Kansas City, Tim Melia, statistically the best at saving penalties in Major League Soccer history. He has a big advantage there over Roman Berkey. He has never lost a shootout in his career, including on Wednesday against San Jose in the wild card match. If it comes down to that tonight, maybe advantage to the boys in blue. Ted Uncle, the referee tonight, gets match one of round one underway. The top seed in the West, St. Louis City, hosting their cross-state rivals, Sporting Kansas City. St. Louis City in the red, Sporting Kansas City in the blue. A contrast in styles as well. Two teams that know each other well, having faced each other 3 times in the regular season, with the home team winning all 3. Taylor, how do the styles define tonight's fight, the most important one yet for both these teams this season?
I think it's most important for St. Louis City to play the game at their tempo, to play the game in their style. They're the least possession team in all of MLS and during the regular season. How quickly can they play vertical? How quickly can they get into the attacking third? And I think for Sporting Kansas City, they've been playing with this desperation in the back of them for a long time. They've won 6 of the last 9. I think the longer they weather the storm figuratively and legitimately with the rain and whatnot, I think the better off for Peter Vermees and his men.
Sporting Kansas City is the 8th seed in the Western Conference. They began the year with just 3 points in their first 10 matches as Gadi Kina comes forward and is dispossessed by Tim Parker. They're the first team in MLS history to make the playoffs with no wins after 10 games. But since that point, since May 1st, no team in the Western Conference has more points than Sporting Kansas City, including St. Louis City SC. In many ways, they're in the best form of any team in the West, and it's not just short term. Is it real, Taylor? Is this Sporting Kansas City team the SKC of the last 24 games that has been the best in the West, or is that still to be determined?
Doesn't matter how you start, it matters how you finish. And what have you done for me lately? And Peter Vermees and this group have come together and really gotten themselves in a great spot. I think early on in this game, you're going to see them flip the script a little bit on St. Louis City, the way Minnesota United did, Portland, RSL when they came into this building and won. Allow St. Louis City to have possession, which they don't want to have, and then hopefully try to find Gadi Kinda and Polito out of that pressure.
Remy Voltaire brings down Jabulo Blum. First foul of the game against Sporting Kansas City. Jared Stroud to João Klaus, a flick around Rosero, and then Voltaire sends it high into the crowd. St. Louis goes quick, as they always want to do. Rosero from behind, taken down by Klaus.
Yeah, the good recognition early on from Rosero, because Bradley Carnell wants João Klaus in St. Louis City to be on the front foot to make sure they're putting Sporting Kansas City's 2 center backs under pressures. The referee having a quick word with João Klaus and his reaction after the whistle. But I think for the viewer at home to understand the environment and what it does for St. Louis City, they won 11 games in this building. In 9 of those 11 games that they won, they blew the roof off this building, scoring 3 or more goals. I think Peter Vermees understands that. He saw 2 of those. And I think they want to be very pragmatic in the first 20, 25 minutes here.
Both times that Sporting Kansas City came here in the regular season, St. Louis City SC put up 4 goals. Less than a month ago, on September 30th, it was scoreless in the 73rd minute. It ended 4-1. St. Louis City scored 4 goals in 12 minutes. That's what they do. That's what they've done in this building this season. Peter Vermees acknowledged Kansas City needs to avoid that happening in this series if they want any chance of advancing. He also said the first 15 minutes particularly important. He said, we know that St. Louis City is going to come out with intensity. And if we're not ready for that, if it's a surprise to us, we've already lost the series. Hasn't been so far. Here comes Sporting Kansas City. Gadi Kinda out wide. Davis into Polito. Kansas City does like to have the ball. 52% possession this year, 8th in Major League Soccer. St. Louis City, the lowest of any team. They like to win the ball. They like to go fast. Shelton leaves for Polito, a flick around Parker. Ted Uncle tells Alan Polito to get up. No call.
I think Tim Parker gets away with one.
Now St. Louis goes quick, direct to Jared Stroud. Jake Davis defending. That's a goal kick. It's off Stroud.
One of the most complete forwards in Major League Soccer. Absolutely 100%. That's a foul on Tim Parker, but Polito will pull off the shoulder. Peter Vermees upset and frustrated with that. That's part of what the playoffs is. What do you get from your reaction from the players? Jake Davis given a good reaction, winning possession off of Stroud, but watch Polito tonight pull off of Parker, pull off of Nielsen, just pull the two center backs of St. Louis City into some bad spots. Polito's one of the best nines in this league of between the ears, getting into the psyche and the positioning of the opposition center backs. It's a big reason why he's up for MLS Comeback Player of the Year.
Big difference for Kansas City this year is his availability. He missed all of last year with a torn ACL. Kansas City missed the playoffs. Back this year, 14 goals, and they're in the postseason once again.
It's night and day what a number 9 that's real confident, in form, like a Polito is, what it does to your team.
And he signed an extension. He'll be spending a few more seasons in Kansas City. Taken away by Shallowy. Polito in the middle, Shallowy carrying himself. Nobody there, and Nielsen just concedes the corner. First one of this match.
Sloppy from Nowinski, but that is good from Daniel Shallowy, doing a good job of turning over Sporting Kansas City's right back. Now a dangerous set piece for Sporting Kansas City.
Shallowy will take it. Roman Berkey in goal has been so good this year. Makes it into a dangerous spot, cleared away by Klaus. Logan and Dembe. Polito leaves for Shallowy. Blom takes it off of Shallowy and just dumps it forward. Kinda mishits it right to Roman Berkey. Oh, again, Stroud and Davis getting into it a little bit. A little bit of afters from Jared Stroud as well. 10 Uncle saw it and will bring the two over for a chat.
Yeah, but what a revelation Jake Davis is for Sporting Kansas City. In his 100th professional match tonight, a center midfielder for the academy for SKC2. Jared Stroud off the ball, kicking out of Jake Davis, but it was Jake Davis turning into a right back that helped turn around Sporting Kansas City season.
He took Graham Zuzi's spot. Zuzi has dealt with injuries, the Sporting Kansas City legend. But Jake Davis has held down that spot, making a 25th straight start tonight, all competitions at right back. 21-year-old homegrown, converted midfielder. Was not on Major League Soccer's 22 under 22. Maybe a bit of a snub for a guy that has become a starting right back in this league.
But he's also someone that's a great example for the pathway of how to become a Major League Soccer first-team player. You move from Michigan to Sporting Kansas City's academy. You use the funds of the Audi Goals Drive Progress to live with a host family. You then go play for Sporting Kansas City 2. You change positions. Now you're playing in your 100th professional game in Major League Soccer in all levels. Now tonight, Graham Zuzi's been a real good teacher, coach, helping guide him through these moments. But for Peter Vermees, a huge turnaround to the season was going with the homegrown Jake Davis as a right back.
Zusi is the only player on Sporting Kansas City left from their 2013 MLS Cup winning side. Here is Shallowy coming forward. Leaves it for Alam Polito. Bloom goes by. Now Gadi Kinda. Here is Jake Davis. First time into Shelton. Intervening was Nielsen. Stroud forward to Jackson. Trying to cut inside around Radoya. He's down, no call.
Yeah, but this is one of the question marks I had with the 11 tonight. When was St. Louis City so good against Sporting Kansas City? It was with two forwards. What a late whistle this is from Ted Uncle.
That has caught the ire of the 22,000 plus at City Park.
Even Sporting Kansas City players didn't think the whistle was blown. They were retreating, providing that cover. Transition was there for St. Louis City, but to put a bow on that conversation, I was a little surprised tonight that Bradley Carnell said, wait a minute, we're going with one forward and having Jackson play as the second forward /10. Adeniran caused some real nightmares for Sporting Kansas City as a second forward. I'm a little surprised that's going to be the second half idea with Joe Aquini and Adeniran coming off the bench.
As we've talked about, they have gotten on Kansas City late, though. Is that maybe the thinking, hey, let's keep it tight or start with this and then end with a bang as we have against Kansas City at home twice already this year. Here's Kinda, couple step overs. Into Polito. Back to Gadi Kinda. This is promising for Kansas City. And Dembe, Shallowy, can he get the shot away? Voltaire can't keep it in play. It was awkward in the end. Shelton was in an offside position, couldn't do anything with it. It's out for a goal kick, but it's Kansas City that's probing early.
Yeah, they're doing a real good job down their left side, and Dembe pulling them wide. Gadi Kinda playing into the pocket, playing off and in behind Daniel Shallowy. But I said it in the pregame, and I'm going to say it here again. Gadi Kinda is the key for this team tonight. He's only got one goal in his last 14 appearances, but just the little silky smooth movements that he has off the ball, pulling defenders in bad spots, combining. He could be a real X factor for Sporting Kansas City on the road tonight.
It wasn't just Polito that missed last year for Sporting Kansas City. It was also this man, Gadi Kinda, who drives forward for Kyrie Shelton. Does well to get away from Nowinski. Leaves for Shallowy, curling it to the back post. Berkey lets it go wide. Seven goals, 9 assists for Daniel Shallowy this year. Roman Berkey has played in so many big games in his career. 5 years as starter at Dortmund, in the Champions League, in the Bundesliga, for the Swiss national team. Now MLS Cup playoffs. And he has been so good for St. Louis City. How do you quantify Roman Berkey's impact on this team? Because it's beyond just the saves.
I think it's also leadership. I think it's the ability and experience of playing in big games and in big moments. It's also just the flat-out ability to make saves in key moments. Make no mistake about it. You can go into analytics and go into the weeds and into those rabbit holes, but when you see expected goals from a goalkeeper's perspective and the fact that Roman Berkey has I mean, Jake, you're looking at, what is that, 8, maybe 9 point difference between the season, at least? That's big time.
Tim Melia can do the same and has on many occasions for Sporting Kansas City in his career. Shallowy has seen a lot of the ball in the first 14 minutes, wins a throw. He's a player who likes a big moment.
I just like the start from a Sporting Kansas City perspective. Gadi Kinda upset. He's going to be given a yellow for the reaction afterwards.
This is the 4th or 5th time that the players, Peter Vermees, have been upset about a call one way or another. Does that favor one of these teams?
No, I don't think so. Yeah. But the argument here, though, is that ball hit Blum and was out of bounds before it hit Gadi Kinda. That's why he's upset. Should have been a throw-in for Sporting Kansas City. But 15 minutes in, if you're Peter Vermees, you're Sporting Kansas City, you were quite pleased with this start. You've taken the steam out of the game by having possession. You've been a real threat down the left side of Shallowy and Ndembe. And it's been a real nervy, unsure start from St. Louis City, especially because they are forcing them to try to dictate the game in possession, which makes them very uncomfortable.
It's been a formula that's worked here at home against St. Louis City this year. It's the way they don't want to play. Nerwinski forward to João Klaus. Now it will be a bit of possession from St. Louis.
So I think Bradley Carnell and St. Louis City initially felt that, you know what, this is how Sporting Kansas City is going to play. So that's why you're seeing Edwin Leuven play so deep. Their best player on the ball, get as many touches as he can. The problem is, and the question I raise, is does that make him more influential? 16 minutes in, very little from Edwin Leuven.
St. Louis again trying to come forward. It's given right back to Sporting KC. Tenunkel says play on. Blum to Stroud. Davis closes him down. Stroud gets the cross away. He sends it over everybody. Vasilev will chase it down. Kansas City takes it away. Polito coming forward. Now Shalloway. Towards Shelton. He couldn't get there. It was a bit awkward. Shelton in towards Shalloway. Blum there to take it away.
But look at how quickly Sporting Kansas City on the front foot, reacting, putting pressure on St. Louis City. St. Louis City's best quality is when the ball does turn over, they play very quickly. They bypass defenders, they play between the lines, and they get forward as quickly as possible. Not so much tonight.
Leuven direct. Klaus tried the touch around Fontes. And Dembe keeps it away from Klaus. Does well to do so, but then gives it away. Blum. Edouard Leuven tried to go get it through to Stroud. Davis was there the whole time. Now Kansas City trying to play out of St. Louis's press. Keena does so well to do so. Into Polito. Forward towards Shelton. Intervening is Nielsen.
Just a great little tactical switch from Peter Vermees. Watch the spacing from Radoja and Voltaire. Nielsen uncharacteristically giving the ball away, but Voltaire's playing very deep, closer to Radoja, so now when they can play out of trouble, how about that turn from Gadi Kinda? He is on one tonight. Half turns, keeping possession, getting Sporting Kansas City out of that pressure, but a little tactical move from Peter Vermees has made it a little bit more difficult for St. Louis City with the ball at their feet.
How can St. Louis counter it?
You got to get Edwin Leuven involved as quickly as possible, and I still believe Jackson in this type of game is better off playing as a second forward than a number 10. Play further up the field, play closer to João Klaus, and allow Edwin Leuven to find the game in spots that are further up the field instead of in front of 5-7 yards in front of the center backs.
Klaus, a big body, draws the foul from Rosero, and now a set piece for St. Louis.
Well, Rosero knew he was going to have his hands full tonight with João Klaus. What a fantastic first season João Klaus had. Ups and downs, missing 18-plus games, still finishing with 10 goals, 4 assists, and most importantly, the second highest jersey sales behind Lionel Messi.
Is that what's most important?
Any goal scorer will tell you that's the second most important thing besides the goals.
He's in good form coming into the postseason as well. 5 goals in his last 7 games.
For St. Louis City and Edwin Leuven, 15 goals off of set pieces. Second in Major League Soccer to Atlanta United.
And they get one in match 1 of the postseason. Leuven leaves for Vasilev, floats it in, dealt with by Fontes. Stroud chases it down for St. Louis. Now he gets the cross in. Rosero, the defensive header, only as far as Vasilev, hit it well, saved by Melia. Nobody there on the rebound for St. Louis.
Well, the hardest thing for a goalkeeper is in this environment, one, to see the ball come through this many defenders. How about the technique here from Indy Vasilev? Perfect technique. Tim Melia is going to be very lucky for that, because that rebound right in front of his own goal. If there's a better reaction from Nowinski or Parker, it's 1-0 St. Louis City.
It is coming down. It has all day. Conditions maybe not so favorable for a goalkeeper tonight. Leuven. Kansas City takes it away. Shelton now. Nielsen steps in. Shelton still has it. And then the foul given, and now it'll be Kansas City with the set piece.
Well, the 22,000 feel like this is a bad call from the referee. I don't. I think Edwin Leuven's got to let go of Kyrie Shelton here. He's pulling him down from that position, from where the referee is, rightfully so, blowing the whistle. But that attack from Sporting Kansas City comes off a bad giveaway from Edwin Leuven, about 20 yards from goal of Sporting Kansas City.
Gotti keened up over this set piece. Very similar to the one that St. Louis had minutes ago on the other end. Kinda. Nobody can get there for Kansas City. The Audi 2023 MLS Cup playoffs continue on Monday with a round 1 doubleheader as Orlando take on Nashville at 7 p.m. Eastern, and then Seattle hosts Dallas at 9 p.m. on MLS Season Pass. This is a giveaway off the goal kick. Kansas City can't take advantage.
You see what I mean, though? How long Sporting Kansas City's been playing desperate?
Yeah, since May 1st.
This doesn't matter. The environment isn't really something unusual for them, especially this group. And oftentimes when people talk about playoff history, it doesn't really matter, because it depends on what the group of players have been through in present time.
Marcanic is brought down. St. Louis City free kick upcoming.
Well, the question's going to be whether or not St. Louis City has the advantage here as Marcanic went down. Jared Stroud's upset with this. There's no advantage to be played whatsoever. So is the argument that it should be a yellow? I'm not sure, but the referee, rightfully so, has to blow the whistle in that moment. There was no advantage to be played.
But another set piece for the second best set piece team in Major League Soccer this season.
If I'm Edwin Leuven here, with the weather and the turf, after watching Tim Melia bobble that one, I'm hitting this with pace, because of where the angle is. Anything that bounces in front of the goalkeeper could be an absolute nightmare to try to defend.
He scored 2 goals from free kicks in the regular season. Tied for second most in the MLS behind only Atlanta's Thiago Almada, who had 3. It will be Leuven. He is going for goal. Did Melia get a touch? Ted Uncle says no, it's a goal kick. Looked like it was going wide anyway.
But exactly what I'm talking about, right? Low with pace, use the field, use the conditions to your advantage. Tim Melia doing a good job. He had it covered, but that's the idea from Edwin Leuven. St. Louis City needed in the moment.
He knows he was close. Just wide in the end. Nielsen wins the header. Leuven down to Stroud. Gives it to Kansas City. Radoya, direct, looking for Shallowy. Parker chasing Berkey outside of his 18. Dangerous in conditions like today, but he does well with it. It's a Kansas City throw. The front runner for goalkeeper of the year. A finalist for now. What a season he's had. Here's Polito. Can they challenge Berkey? And Dembe's coming forward. He has space, and Dembe! A wonderful goal from the unlikeliest source. The left back, Logan Ndembe, gives the visitors the lead in match 1 of round 1 of the Western Conference playoffs.
And almost identical to the last regular season game here at City Park, St. Louis City has been lethargic. They've been slow. They've been stuck in the mud. This is defending a throw-in your defensive third. Polito pulls off. Nerwinski's tied in too tight. Vasilev is caught too tight inside. And how about this? Prepare it with one touch forward. And Ndembe's been fantastic in his second year in Major League Soccer. Perfect technique. Perfect start for Peter Vermees and Sporting Kansas City here in St. Louis, Missouri. 1-0, and the silence is deafening here at City Park.
Logan Ndembe's first goal for Sporting Kansas City, and what a time for it. In each of Kansas City's 2 trips to City Park this season, they trailed 4-0. They got a late goal to make it 4-1 in the second game. Tonight, when it matters more, when it matters most, they go up 1-0. How will St. Louis City respond? Andreu Fontes trying to make sure Kansas City doesn't give up that lead right away. Vasilev. Jackson tries to flick it on. It's Parker! Instant response from St. Louis City. Tim Parker brings it back level.
And Tim Parker says to City Park in St. Louis City, there is still life within this expansion team. They did, but it was the reaction from Tim Parker. Set pieces has been a huge asset for St. Louis City throughout the entire regular season. And tonight, even after a handball from Alan Polito, Tim Parker scores his 5th goal of the year in all competitions, and it's 1-1.
Tim Parker, a Defender of the Year finalist, and then Klaus putting Fontes under pressure. A Defender of the Year finalist, certainly those 4 goals, a big reason for it. He scored just 2 goals in his first 8 seasons in Major League Soccer. He had 4 this year. Here's Klaus, can they take the lead? Melia goes down quick to make the save.
Well, here you go. The game in September in this building, it was scoreless for 73 minutes, and then in 12 minutes, St. Louis City scored 4 goals. When the energy in this building is picked up, when they feel confident, they can finish a game off in the blink of an eye. Sporting Kansas City's got to be very careful here going into halftime.
Marcanic pulls down Shelton. Kansas City will have a set piece.
But for an expansion team, you need your MLS experienced players to show up. Tim Parker's played over 11 games in the playoffs for a variety of teams, and he has scored goals in big moments That now his third MLS career playoff goal.
Kinda, headed away by Marcanic. Put back in by Voltaire. Redoya, nobody there. Berkey wants to go quick, but it's right to Kinda. Polito over to Redoya. Shelton has switched over to the left side. Tim Parker spent the last 2 seasons in Houston. They did not make the playoffs either of those years. Last time he played in the postseason was for the New York Red Bulls in 2020. That team was led to the playoffs by St. Louis City manager Bradley Carnell. He took over with 14 games to go in the regular. Did not manage that playoff game. Instead, it was Gerhard Struber who was hired by the Red Bulls and put in charge for the first time in the playoffs. They lost that game to the Columbus Crew. 3 years later, Bradley Carnell gets to manage in the postseason for the first time in his career. And it's Tim Parker leveling things for St. Louis. Jackson sends this well wide.
Well, less than 2 minutes apart, the game opened up. Defending a throw-in, inexcusable from St. Louis City. But fantastic vision there from Polito, and how about Ndembe? Textbook strike with the left foot. But what would the reaction be from St. Louis City? Set pieces, set pieces, set pieces has been the name of the game all season long for Tim Parker and company. Great reaction. 33 minutes in, we've got ourselves a good one.
Direct for Shallowy. Marcanic missed it. Shallowy into the middle. Nerwinski sends it to safety. Jackson tried to flick it on, didn't get it right. Rosero can go back to Melia. Shelton and Nerwinski tied up. This time the foul goes against Kansas City. Kyrie Shelton disagrees.
No, but if you're Gotti Kinda, you're on a yellow. You've got to be very careful after the whistle with your reactions here. The last thing you want to do after the start that you've had on an individual level and collectively is shoot yourself in the foot.
Oh, Klaus the flick. Nerwinski the skill wins the corner.
Still good, though, from Fontas to come over here and to close that down. Tim Melia screaming for somebody of Sporting Kansas City to get in front of Jackson on this near post.
Don't know if they can hear him in front of the supporter section here at City Park. Deafening. Edouard Louvin to take the corner. Ted Uncle will make them wait. A message for Aziel Jackson and Remy Voltaire says, "I'm watching you." And now he'll bring him over and have a talk.
Keep an eye on Klaus here. Tim Parker doing a good job of getting as close as he can to Klaus.
Louvin. Polito the defensive header. Stroud cut it back but gave it away.
That was great defending from Polito on that near post because that ball was whipped in at a perfect height and with real pace, difficult to defend.
Jackson looking for Louvin. Redoya will see it out for a goal kick. Bradley Carnell said this weather suits them, suits their style. No longer the dog days of summer where it's hot. Maybe they can't run as hard for as long. He said his message to his team for the playoffs, think less, do more. Heavy metal, like Jurgen Klopp talks about at Liverpool. Ramp it up. He wants his team to turn up the volume. And it's Kansas City now coming forward with Gadi Kinda. His shot was blocked. Polito will keep it in play, looking for Shallowy Blum. Only as far as Kinda. The kick save from Berkey. Voltaire! And in! The lead again! Back and forth in Missouri. The visitors from across the state take the lead back 10 minutes before halftime.
It's amazing to think Sporting Kansas City went winless in their first 10 games, and yet they were second in Major League Soccer in goals in the first half. They love to be on the front foot. Their reactions have been perfect tonight. Second balls, they've been there sooner, they've been there quicker, but it has been sloppy from Sporting Kansas City, defending in numbers, clearances, whether it's been Ndembe with a fantastic finish or Voltaire with a clean first touch, and a wonderful finish to give the visitors down I-70 West a huge 2-1 lead on the road, 37 minutes in here at City Park.
Roman Berkey looked like he saw it late. Remy Voltaire puts Kansas City up 2-1.
Kansas City goal scored by number 54, Remy Voltaire. The assist to number 20, Daniel Shallowy. In the 36th.
What a first half it's been in St. Louis. Nielsen direct. Davis will see it out. Depending on who you talk to, there's arguments of whether or not you can consider this a rivalry already. That's just the fourth game. Nights like these accelerate that.
Well, it was actually Peter Vermees that said until they won, after losing 4-0 in May, winning that game at home 2-1 early in September, that officially made a rivalry because they returned serve and returned the favor to St. Louis City after that 4-0 loss. It is amazing to me how quick and reactions are on point from Gadi Kinda.
Oh, what a goal! What a half from Sporting KC!
This is an unbelievable finish, but the question will be whether or not it's a handball on Kyrie Shelton. When the ball was played forward off the goal kick, the question will be whether or not the ball hits the right arm of Kyrie Shelton. But what a finish this is from Gadi Kinda. He's been on one tonight, only one goal in his last 14 appearances. But the question will be from VAR whether or not this ball hits the right arm of Kyrie Shelton. Now that's really difficult to determine from that look. But this is going to be the better look here. Does this ball hit the right arm of Kyrie Shelton that falls down? Oh boy, that looks like the right shoulder.
It's close, it's really close.
You're gonna have to ask the question whether or not that is clear and obvious, because that ball falls to Gadi Kinda and then he immediately reacts and scores the goal of his life.
Daniel Radford is the video assistant referee. He is looking at this and taking a long look. The rule is basically the armpit and over. A very short jersey sleeve, so to speak. This is about as close as it gets.
It's a goal.
Yeah, no clear and obvious error. The goal is given, the goal stands, and it's Kansas City up 3-1.
What a finish this is. Gadi Kinda had to be really good tonight. How good is this? How good is that? On the road, 3-1, Sporting Kansas City putting on a clinic.
They gave up 4 each of their first 2 trips here. They're 1 away from putting up 4 themselves. Remarkable half from Sporting Kansas City, a team playing their 3rd match in 9 days. They won on Wednesday at home in the wild card match over the San Jose Earthquakes. Finished 0-0. Kansas City won in penalties on just 3 days rest. They have come out flying. They have been up for it, and they look not finished. Gadi Kinda over to Shallowy. Tried to get it to Ndembe. Nerwinski is there. Radoya takes down Vasilev.
But this begs the question, and I said it from the onset when I saw the 11s. Now you make a decision to not play a second forward. There's been no threat from St. Louis City going the other way. None.
Their only goal came off a set piece.
Adeniran, Joachini, the second forward playing off of Klaus. They've been sloppy, but tip of the cap to Sporting Kansas City. They've been so good winning second balls, winning duels, but then turning them into successful transitions.
How quickly do you see that change from Bradley Cornell?
It's coming in at halftime. Because if not, then you really got to ask the question, what are you waiting for?
Stroud tried to find Jackson, didn't make it there. Radoya intervened. Jackson to Klaus, over to Stroud. Stroud floating it just out of the reach of João Klaus.
It's second balls. Watch the reaction from the team in blue. Just watch, immediately second ball. Shelton comes in here, ball falls down, Polito's in the right spot. Kinda's immediately in a good spot to get into that transition. Then all of a sudden, now what? Now you're scrambling, you're looking for it. Voltaire, top of the 18, just in great spots in the reactions from Sporting Kansas City. And then obviously you need a blinder. You need a goal of your life, a goal of your dreams. Gadi Kinda gets that tonight. Peter Vermes has pushed all the right buttons since May 1st. And Sporting Kansas City looks like a very, very difficult out this time of year.
Gadi Kinda inserted into the starting lineup tonight, didn't start on Wednesday, basically taking the place of Eric Tommy. And what a goal for Gadi Kinda, his first playoff goal. Spectacular strike. They've scored 3 great goals, particularly in Ndembe and Kinda's.
And where have they all come from? The left channel.
Yeah, top
the
of the
left
box,
channel.
outside left, yeah.
Right in that pocket of space between Parker and Nowinski.
Yeah. How can St. Louis close that down? Is there a reason for it? Is this lack of conversation? Is it switching concentration? Is it just switching off?
They're playing too deep.
Yeah.
This is not the St. Louis City that won the Western Conference.
Is that something that Kansas City has done to make them do that, though? Because as you said right off the beginning, Kansas City was letting St. Louis have the ball.
Jake, oftentimes when you assess the New York Red Bulls, St. Louis City, teams that like to play this type of style, you have to have effort. You have to have that first and foremost. If you don't get that, then the system is completely irrelevant. It's been irrelevant the first 45 minutes tonight because Sporting Kansas City not only has matched their effort, but they've given themselves more quality. And Ndembe's finish, Kinda's, Voltaire's, all 3 real quality finishes on the road. It's been a perfect 45 minutes from Sporting Kansas City tonight.
And it has been a rough one from St. Louis as Tim Parker plays it back for a corner. Berkey couldn't get there in time. Now in the final minute before first half stoppage time, St. Louis defending a corner, just trying not to go down by more into halftime. Kinda cuts it away from Jackson, now floats it in. Klaus flicks it on. Stroud sends it forward, nobody there for St. Louis. Davis towards Shallowy.
How about that ball?
Shallowy unable to bring it down, but the ball was there from Jake Davis, and Shallowy apologizes.
But Jake, in this playoff format where aggregate has no bearing on whatsoever, if you're at halftime and you're Bradley Carnell, why not come out here guns blazing, put everyone on the front foot? You get the game 3-3 if you can, get it to penalties. Late nasty challenge from Jackson. That epitomizes exactly what the first half has been from a St. Louis City perspective. They've been second to everything. Credit to Peter Vermes and Sporting Kansas City tonight.
Jackson into the book. Joins Gadi Kinda on yellow cards. In this new format, you'll be suspended after 3 yellow cards. But that resets for the conference finals. So the only way a player could get suspended is if they pick up 3 yellows before the conference semis. They would miss a game in the conference semifinals. That would only happen for most players in this series if it goes 3 games. Andreu Fontas for Kansas City. He is on a yellow from the wild card match, so he's maybe the most at risk. But it is a more forgiving format in that regard than other tournaments of its kind. Almost done with the minimum minute of stoppage time and 1.5 for Sporting Kansas City. Adjustments will need to be made by St. Louis at halftime. Kansas City will be feeling great. 250 miles away from their home across the state of Missouri. Coming in and shell-shocking this City Park crowd in the first half.
Well, some will tell you that form is fallacy, Jake, right? 2 wins in your last 8 for St. Louis City, 6 in your last 9 for Sporting Kansas City. Any questions?
Not in this first half. Sticks to form as it's Sporting Kansas City. The best team in the Western Conference since May 1st have continued that into the postseason. 3-1 at halftime of match 1, round 1 in the Western Conference final. What can Tim Parker and St. Louis City do during the break to turn this around? Gadi Kinda's wonderful goal in the 39th minute has made it 3-1 at halftime. It's playoff time. The weather. 3-1. We'll be back to break it down. Hey, how are you?
I made this. Fee-free overdrafts. Early payday. Easy credit building. When your money's good, you feel good. Don't be afraid to catch fish. Chime, the #1 most loved banking app.
Your first home sees a lot of firsts. From first loves to first steps. Sure, it can be a handful at times, keeping you up at night.
Come on now.
But with help from the Home Depot,
Thank you very much.
you'll find the confidence to create the first place you call your own. The Home Depot, how doers.
They light the way forward. The new fully electric Audi Q8 e-tron models.
Welcome to the halftime report presented by Audi. A little refuge sought on this rainy and cold St. Louis night. Sold out crowd, weather doesn't matter. What'll be having everybody down is the score line. Kansas City, 3-1 at halftime. Incredible evening here in St. Louis, the first playoff match in the history of the city in Major League Soccer. But Logan Ndembe, this is his first ever professional goal. What a time, what a strike.
Yeah, but from the opening whistle, Sporting Kansas City was very dangerous and good going forward, especially down their left side. Was it a handball? And Polito, referee, rightfully so, allows play to continue. Tim Parker in the right spot at the right time. Good reaction from St. Louis City, but exponentially better from Sporting Kansas City. From the opening whistle, they've been on the front foot. They've been in a better spot. They've been calm and collected in key moments. Voltaire under pressure, clean first touch. Clean hit, 2-1 Voltaire, but then it's the finish from Gadi Kinda. Was it a handball on Kyrie Shelton? VAR says no, off the shoulder. But look at how many red shirts chasing Gadi Kinda. 5-6 defenders around him, and yet Roman Berkey's diving for his life and picking the ball out of the back of his net. What a wonderful 45 minutes from Gadi Kinda and Sporting Kansas City.
10 minutes and 5 seconds in between those 4 goals. How about this? Sporting Kansas City had not scored a first half goal in a road playoff game since 2003. 20 years. They have scored 3 tonight. Very low expected goals, but they won't care.
What's the one stat that matters on there?
Goals.
St. Louis City, possession.
Yeah.
61%. They have no idea what to do with that.
That's by Sporting Kansas City's design, right?
No doubt.
They have flipped it around. A team in St. Louis who has the lowest possession throughout this season. Forced to have the ball today. They haven't liked it. The top scores for each team are presented by Audi, the official vehicle of Major League Soccer. Alan Pulido's 14 goals in the regular season, the most of anybody in this match. Joe Klaus, Nicholas Joachini, 10 apiece. For every goal scored during the Audi MLS Cup playoffs, Audi will contribute $2,000 to support MLS academies through the Goals Drive Progress initiative. 1.5 from those in blue in City Park. There's a flag flying in the breeze from St. Louis.
Lunch?
Yes, please.
That'll be $23.
Your ad says it's free.
It is for our Economy Ultimate passengers who paid extra.
I'll just have water.
Okay, cash or card?
For water?
Well, at AT&T, when we offer you our best iPhone deals, we guarantee it. Even on the new iPhone 15 Pro. Check it out, made with titanium.
We do have free movies with the purchase of headphones.
I'll just use my iPhone.
Only AT&T gives everyone our best deals on any iPhone with any popular plan. Guaranteed. Get iPhone 15 Pro on us.
Is it possible to be more capable and more practical? Be able to perform here and here. Make a statement while barely making a sound. And command the road as well as what lies ahead. How we get there matters.
Travis, did you know you can get this season's COVID-19 shot when you get your flu shot?
Two things at once.
Two things at once! Two things at once! I'll have two things at once, please. Now back to two things at once. Two things at once.
That's not two things at once.
Mom!
Travis, ask about getting this season's COVID-19 shot when getting your flu shot.
How will I know where to start? Striving for more isn't just for the field, it's for life. Know more with RBC Wealth Management.
Welcome back to the Halftime Report presented by Audi. Sporting Kansas City, the 8th seed in the West, a 3-1 lead at halftime against their cross-state rivals and the top seed St. Louis in match 1 of round 1 of the Western Conference playoffs. Offside takes you into the world of American soccer with Taylor Twellman as your tour guide. This week, Taylor, you had 2 episodes, playoff time, and you just pump out the content.
You just seemed surprised that I actually did an extra day of work.
I just thought between the Saturday and Saturday, or as it is Sunday, when I see you, you're just like on the golf course.
Oh,
for
come on.
6 straight days and then showing up.
4 straight days, and then I'll do 2 days of a podcast.
You can hear Taylor, Moadu, and Sasha Kleshin talk playoffs and MLS year-end awards. Also, a deep dive into St. Louis City, a fascinating episode with Bradley Carnell, with Carolyn Kindle, the owner with Luch Fonensteel, about this St. Louis City SC side. Listen to it on Apple Podcasts. All right, a couple games coming up tomorrow in round 1. Let's begin with Nashville and Orlando. Taylor, Nashville, the 7th seed in the East, visiting the 2nd seed Orlando City.
Yeah, but Orlando City set a club record for most points, most wins because of their form after Leagues Cup. More points than anyone with 26 points, and a big reason, Duncan McGuire with 5 goals, 1 assist in the last 5 games. But Nashville has made the playoffs in each of its 4 seasons as the only 3rd expansion team to do so. But if they're going to do anything. Their reigning MVP, Hani Mukhtar, has to turn it up. He's only got 2 goals in his last 16 MLS appearances. Now for Seattle and Dallas, this becomes interesting because if you include the playoffs, Seattle is unbeaten in 17 straight home games against FC Dallas. They're unbeaten in their last 9. They're in great form. By the way, so is FC Dallas. They're unbeaten in their last 9, but only 2 wins in those 9 games. Jesus Ferreira's got to be a little bit more dynamic in the final third, as he's only got 3 goals in his last 14 appearances in all competitions.
Yesterday, Philly and New England got it underway, and it was a first half dominant performance from the Philadelphia Union.
Yeah, we talked a lot about this, you and I, leading into the playoffs. Could Philadelphia just flip the switch a little bit? You almost felt like they can because of the way they lost MLS Cup last year, the way they lost Leagues Cup semifinal to Lionel Messi and Inter Miami. They've got a little chip on their shoulder again. They showed that against New England, winning 3-1 at home.
They take a 1-0 lead in that series. LAFC does the same. Denis Bouanga gets his golden boot, has a brace. 5-2, it ends LAFC over Vancouver.
Yeah, and we're only going to show the 2 most important goals of this is Denis Bouanga, because if he's operating at this level with a rested, energized LAFC, which is not what we've seen throughout the entire year, but especially in the second half, this is going to be a very difficult team to contend with. But the Seattle Sounders are the 2nd seed. If the bracket goes by chalk, LAFC is going to have to go on the road and win on turf in Seattle. That's going to be difficult for LAFC and company.
Earlier today, 4th seed in the West Houston hosting 5th seed in the West RSL, and it's a game-winning goal from Amin Bassi.
Yeah, and you talked about our recent podcast on Offside and what team would be the biggest surprise. I said the Houston Dynamo. Yeah. If there's a team outside the top 3 seeds that could surprise this league and win MLS Cup, I think it's Ben Olsen and the Houston Dynamo.
Supporter Shield winners, the top seed in the East, the top seed in the entire MLS Cup playoffs. Cincinnati emphatically begin their playoff run 3-0 in Game 1 over New York.
And what did Pat Noonan do really well with the players that Andy made? Barriel, an MLS All-Star this year, a wingback. He scores 2 goals on the night as Lucha Acosta and FC Cincinnati made Red Bull New York easy dealings, winning 3-0. How about that finish, by the way?
Yeah, he'll take that. Kind of like a little chip in from him, a little putt.
Well, you saw Harry Kane do it for Bayern Munich. He said, I'll do one better.
He did. Easy when the goal was
Harry
open,
Kane's was better.
So far, the higher seed, the home team, has won the first 4 matches. Sporting Kansas City threatening to upset that, change that tonight. The final match of round 1, the first match 1 of round 1, Columbus hosting Atlanta on Wednesday. Well, St. Louis has work to do to flip around Kansas City's lead. Otherwise, it could be SKC as the only team so far to take the first match in round 1. Second half coming up after this.
Finding the right hotel just got easier. Compare and book on the app with Hotels.com.
It's not just designed to look good. It's built to command attention. It's not just a comfortable interior. It's a quiet refuge. They're not forward. The new fully electric Audi Q8 e-tron models.
Hi, it's Major League Soccer. No, you're looking for Beckham. I'm Beck. Noah Beck.
All right, team, it's the marketing plan for 2023.
Hey, everyone. Sorry I'm late. So I have this great idea. What do we think? Hi, it's Major League Soccer. Oh, hi, Mr. Messi. Yeah, please hold. Yeah, what's up? Hi, it's MLS.
If working hard is essential to get where you want to be, you need something that gets you going and keeps you going on the path to your true potential. You need a spotter, a running mate, a loyal companion. You need Celsius. Every drop is essential. Celsius, essential energy.
Welcome back to City Park in St. Louis, Missouri. Sporting Kansas City up 3-1 on the road over St. Louis City SC in match 1 of round 1 of the Western Conference playoffs. This is a supporter cam brought to you by Hotels.com. Find your perfect somewhere on the Hotels.com app. It was a wall of sound from the supporters in St. Louis in the first half. It did go quiet at times, not when Tim Parker leveled the match for St. Louis in the 29th minute. But 2 goals from Sporting Kansas City, 2 minutes apart. Remy Voltaire and Gadi Kinda have given the road team a 3-1 win as we enter the second half. No changes from either manager at halftime. Jake Sivan, Taylor Twellman with you at City Park. Sporting Kansas City, the 8th seed in the West in blue. St. Louis City SC, the top seed in red. We talked a lot about what Kansas City was doing to make it difficult for St. Louis in that first half. Taylor, how can St. Louis come out differently in the second half to counteract that? As Ndembe comes forward and gives it away.
Well, 1, I'm surprised there's no subs being made.
Yeah.
Right? 2, there's no change in tactics. And so you would have to think Bradley Carnell's given this group 10 minutes to see if they can get themselves back into this one, see if he can get a reaction from the players. But I'm a little surprised that there's no Joe Aquini or Dinnerin coming in at halftime.
Options on the bench for Bradley Carnell, who told us all he wants is his team to put their signature on this game, to play their style. Says, look, if we do that, I feel good about our chances, but that's what I want more than anything. They weren't really able to do that in the first half, though.
No, and that's because Sporting Kansas City did a wonderful job of picking the right moments to press. Immediately when they lost possession, instead of pressing, Peter Vermees had his men drop deep, be compact. St. Louis City doesn't know what to do if someone's not running right at them, trying to put them under pressure. And that forced 61% possession for a team that hates possession, hates dominating the ball in the game. That's where Peter Vermees tactically has won this game. That, and they're the first team to score 3 goals in 1 game from outside 18 yards.
In MLS this season. Ted Uncle gives a set piece for Kansas City. Gadi Kinda over it for the visitors. Doesn't make it past the second man, Jared Stroud. Davis into the corner. The idea was there, but it's too far for Gadi Kinda. Any changes in the approach for Sporting Kansas City, or more of the same?
No, I think it's more of the same, especially when you choose those moments to be compact. Just make sure all the way from the center backs to Polito, you are compact and not allow St. Louis City to get out in space and get into an open, chaotic game. That's where they thrive. That's where they want to operate, to try to get Edwin Leuven further up the field in more dangerous spots. They've done a wonderful job of forcing Leuven deep in front of Nielsen and Parker, having very little impact on this game so far.
In the 2 previous matches here at City Park between these 2 teams, St. Louis scored 6 goals in the second half. As this is clipped in and caught by Melia, but they did not trail at any point in those games. It was scoreless at halftime on September 30th. It was 2-0 at halftime on May 20th. Very different tonight, as Melia sends it forward. Shallowy over to Ndembe, who scored the first goal of his entire professional career in the first half, and a wonderful one at that. Oh, this is Kinda! What a chance! Maybe took too long as Parker is able to recover. He had an opportunity to hit it first time, instead passed it up, and the chance went away for Kansas City.
Sloppy from St. Louis City. On one end, Nielsen just losing possession 18 yards out, and then Edwin Leuven easily losing possession in the midfield, giving the ball back to Sporting Kansas City.
Shelton wins the header, but was offside.
The other part to this scoreline is you don't even need to use Johnny Russell if you don't need to.
Johnny Russell, their star designated player, carrying a groin injury for several weeks, as this is forward to Vasilev. Back to Nerwinski. Floating it in, Melia will come and will catch. You'd love that if you're Peter Vermees, right? To be able to rest Johnny Russell a full week until match 2 in Kansas City on Sunday. Shallowy into Polito. Tommy as well, another designated player. He's been nursing a calf injury, also on the bench tonight. They both started. They both played 90 on Wednesday against San Jose in the wild card match. Both converted their penalties in that shootout. Given away, sloppy again from St. Louis. Kyrie Shelton has Polito in the middle. It's Shallowy, 4-4, saved by Berkey. Keeping St. Louis in this match for now.
Well, and Ted Uncle's blowing a whistle for the foul on Edwin Leuven, yet João Klaus and Jackson were going the other way. It is remarkable how many times St. Louis City have been fighting, defending for their lives, throwing bodies on the line. Shallowy has everyone beat, but Roman Berkey, as he's done throughout the end, gives some life to St. Louis City and the 22,000 in this building.
St. Louis go quick. Jackson over towards Marcanic. It's easy for Shelton to intervene. Now Radoya forward towards Polito, instead to Parker. St. Louis couldn't get it down. Kansas City with Davis.
It's just disjointed from St. Louis City. Look at how easy it is for Sporting Kansas City to play out of that press. The body language from St. Louis City, arms being waved, pointing fingers. Just been a difficult night here at home.
Davis with room into Polito. Again, it's Kansas City just ripping St. Louis to shreds. Shallowy clipped in and all the way through, nobody there. Nerwinski broken up by Radoya. Klaus gets on it for St. Louis. Vasilev. Oh, step over and around Fontes. Vasilev held by Melia.
That's 3 straight crosses, 8 minutes into this second half that have gone directly to Tim Melia. Indy Vasilev was in an offside position, so whether or not this play continued, I think VAR would have brought it back, but in saying that, it's still 3 crosses directly to Tim Melia.
They have not really been able to create danger tonight, other than the set piece.
No.
The corner in the first half, Tim Parker scored.
And even the set piece, Jake, was a deflection off the arm of Polito. It really wasn't a clean set piece, a clean goal.
How do they get Klaus more involved?
Bring on Sam Adeniran or Joe Aquini immediately. Because to that point, you've got to get support. Rosero and Fontas really struggled when they're both occupied. It's been easy pickings for the 2 center backs of Sporting Kansas City because Klaus has had little to no impact and very few touches with another bad giveaway from Indy Vassilev.
It's been that kind of night for St. Louis. Looked like a handball on Kinda. It's given.
I go back to the point at the end of the first half. In this format, you've got nothing to lose.
Yep.
Why not throw caution to the wind and go for it right now?
Aggregate does not matter, just who wins each game. This is match one of a best-of-3 series.
And your best-case scenario now is trying to get this game to Pens to try to save that win at home. Otherwise, you're going to be looking at trying to go win at Sporting Park, where those fans are going to be chomping at the bit.
That match 2 of this best-of-3 series, is on Sunday in Kansas City. Coverage begins at 4:45 Eastern on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. Kickoff just after 5 Eastern. 250 miles away across the state of Missouri and just over the border into Kansas City, Kansas. Peter Vermees and Sporting Kansas City right now in position to take a 1-0 lead back home in this best-of-3 series. But still plenty of time for St. Louis City SC, and 1 goal would change everything, but that's another bad giveaway. Davis can come forward. Goes around Blum with ease. Davis over to Shallowy. Shallowy takes a deflection. Berkey has to backpedal and does well to keep it out. And goes quick to Stroud. Into Klaus. Over to Stroud. St. Louis has not really been able to get going in these moments today. Can this be an exception? Leuven, Jared Stroud. Dribbled it right into Davis, and it's given to Kansas City. Polito, Kyrie Shelton, Gadi Kinda. Already 1 wonderful goal today. Now Shallowy, back towards Kinda, just missed him. Leuven into space for Klaus. He's isolated with Rosero. Has Jackson as well. Klaus coming forward towards Jackson. Broken up by Radoya.
How good is that from Radoya? His experience, 8 years playing in La Liga, was going to come to be a huge part and a huge factor tonight. Radoya with that recovery run to slide in there and nick that ball away from Klaus trying to find Jackson. The quicker Radoya got comfortable, got fit, because preseason he picked up an injury. It stalled his integration into the Sporting Kansas City 11. I don't think it's any coincidence that Radoya got fit, got more confident, so did Sporting Kansas City.
Jared Stroud will go into the book. Ted Unkel showing a 3rd yellow card of this match.
Just another late challenge from St. Louis City.
And here come the changes now, and one that you've been calling for at least 15 minutes. It's Sam Adeniran who will come on for Aziel Jackson. And Kyle Hebert will also enter for Anthony Marcanic, with Adeniran on for Jackson. Taylor, this is the change in formation, the change in approach that you've been calling for.
Yeah, I mean, that's where Adeniran should have started this game, in my opinion, because he gave them handfuls. Even at Sporting Park, he scored that early goal, could have had a second. But I'm also sitting here with a little bit of a perplexed look, because you and I have done how many St. Louis City games this year, and 2 of those, Kyle Hebert has come in and played in a fullback position at Nashville, being one of them. That's not his natural position. His natural position is center back. So if you're Kyrie Shelton, I think you're looking at real opportunities here to score that fourth goal.
And he's kind of had a weird year, Kyle Hebert. Began as this emergency center back partner with Tim Parker because Joachim Nielsen was hurt. It did pretty well early on, and then saw more time as an outside back. Started 10 matches this year as a center back, 13 in the end as a left back, and 1 as a right back. So he's played there about half the time this year.
Yeah, but Jake, numbers don't lie, people do. In the 7 starts that Nielsen has started, St. Louis City's only won 1 game.
Not what anybody would have expected, as Polito can't get it to Shallowy, but it is a corner. And Nielsen was a big signing.
Bundesliga player, but 13 months he was out due to a knee injury. In the 7 games coming into tonight that he has started, they've only won 1 of those. When Kyle Hebert was playing next to Parker, that's where they surprised a lot. I'm telling you, it's difficult. You saw Polito coming off a knee injury. Right. It took him till May 7th to score his first goal. Nielsen hasn't looked up to it tonight. Credit to Sporting Kansas City. But that's an alarming stat when you consider they're down 3-1 in the 61st minute here.
Kinda serving, Polito flicking, Shallowy, and in, and it's 4! They've turned it completely around. A team that conceded 4 in each of their previous 2 trips to City Park in the regular season have now put 4 on St. Louis in round 1 of the playoffs.
Unbelievable flick on from Polito. And around the world, you'll hear about near post runs, how vital they are to set pieces, to balls being delivered from wide areas. You pull defenders into bad spots, but any kind of deflection, now all of a sudden the defending team is chasing shadows. And St. Louis City, from the opening whistle tonight, has been chasing blue shadows all over the field because a clinic has been in session. 4-1 Sporting Kansas City here in St. Louis, Missouri.
A masterclass from Sporting Kansas City. Daniel Shallowy's first postseason goal since 2018 and the 4th of his Sporting Kansas City career. 4-1 in match 1. And Sporting Kansas City threatening to take a 1-0 lead in this best-of-3 series. It's going to take quite a comeback from St. Louis City to change that. First 4 matches of this playoffs, all won by the home team. But it's the most informed team in the Western Conference, on the road against the top seed, making a major statement tonight in St. Louis. Dembe called for a foul, wanted it to be shoulder to shoulder. Ted Uncle did not consider it that.
Jake, you're looking at me and I got this weird smirk on my face.
Why is that?
Because throughout my entire career, I've been asked, what's the best goal to score? And I've always said the one on the road.
Yeah.
When it is silent. When you hear an entire sold-out crowd completely go quiet, they boo you. They give you any finger they want to give you. They tell you exactly how bad you are, and you just look at them because it's dead silent. And 4 times tonight, Sporting Kansas City has made this group and this stadium and this city shut up. Wow, what a performance tonight. Unreal.
Tim Parker tumbling over Daniel Shallowy. They're asking for a card. Graham Zusi, Roger Espinosa, who's seen his fair share of yellow cards in his day. He knows what is one.
I mean, there is a good debate. Why is that not a yellow?
It's a good question. Ted Uncle knows.
Everything has gone wrong tonight. The second best defending team on set pieces was St. Louis City this year, behind Nashville and Philadelphia. They give up a goal.
And maybe will be heading down in this series 1-0. But that was a big talking point for this new format. Is there is a little bit of room for error for a team. Bit. There's a lot of room for error for a team that won the regular season in St. Louis, the top seed. They'd be done right at this point under the old format. They will not be, no matter what happens over the next 25 minutes. Kinda, Berkey has to get a touch, and does. Kansas City is playing with so much confidence.
Yeah, but they've been in this position. And I hate beating the dead horse, but they've been desperate for a long time. They're the first MLS team to make the playoffs, have to go winless in their first 10 games. But when you've been desperate for so long, and I've been on teams where you've got to fight and claw your way in.
Is it a fifth? Almost, if not for Tim Parker, it was Rosero.
You don't care about going on the road. You've already done this. You've been doing this for the last 9 games of the year.
Berkey will come and catch. Sporting Kansas City scored 3 goals in their first 10 games. 3 draws, 7 losses, just 3 goals scored before May 1st. What a turnaround it's been for Peter Vermes and Sporting Kansas City this season. They won in penalties in the wild card round against San Jose at home on Wednesday. And now the performance of the season so far, up 4-1 on the road in match 1 of round 1.
Well, and I know it's hard to say that because of the previous way they needed to get into the playoffs. But I know for 67 minutes, this is the best performance they've had in a long time. And I know the Sporting Kansas City fans are at home not wanting me to remind everyone that in the 26 playoff games on the road in their history, Sporting Kansas City had won 2 of those games.
They had not scored a first half road goal in the playoffs in 20 years until they scored 3 tonight. Remarkable is another takedown. St. Louis thought it should have been Shelton that was called for the foul. Instead, it's Nerwinski. This is the 3rd time Kansas City has scored 4 goals in a playoff match. That equals the club record. Kinda flicked on, makes its way to the back post. Fontes' volley was blocked. Clipped back, Radoya, Shelton saved by Berkey. And Fontes, awkward from St. Louis. Another corner conceded.
Well, Peter Vermes said they were losing at New England, and at halftime he looked at everybody in the locker room and said, is this who you want to be in 2023? They lost that game, but in the second half he saw fight, he saw belief, he saw a quiet confidence that they could right the ship. Well, guess what? You've seen that on October 29th. This team believes that they've got something going for them, and they've done it tonight.
Peter Vermes told us at halftime of that game, he said, if you guys have quit, let me know. They said, no, we haven't. Nobody in blue quit on this season. It seemed dead 10 games in, just 3 points, just 3 goals scored. At this point, though, with this performance, the question has got to be, how far can Sporting Kansas City go in these playoffs? They'll have to do it on the road. If they get a home game in match 2 on Sunday, potentially with a chance to win the series and move on to the conference semis. Indagati Kinda, easy for Berkey. But even now, up 4-1, it's Kansas City that's it's creating the pressure, that's taking control of this match. St. Louis still has been unable, despite theoretically being in desperation mode, to threaten Tim Melia at all.
Yeah, but I don't want to bring it up again, but 6 weeks ago we started to preview the playoffs, and I said I haven't seen a lot of positive from St. Louis City since League's Cup. I get it, they won 4-1 here in the building against Sporting Kansas City, but only 2 wins in your last 8 games. Completely played off the field at home against Seattle, completely played off the field from Vancouver. Sporting Kansas City wanting a yellow for the reaction from Nedwood Leuven. Yellow's going to be given. But I'd argue right now, Bradley Cardinal and his staff, they're going to find out whether or not there's anything left in this season from Edwin Leuven in St. Louis City. Because it, plain and simple, hasn't been good enough tonight here at home.
St. Louis has been a team that has been written off a few times over the past year. Well, they were written off before the season even started. Here's another look at what earned Leuven the yellow card. The reaction kicking the ball away. And then they started 5-0, the first expansion team to begin with 5 straight wins. Then they hit a little bit of a stumble. They lost 2 in a row, and they were written off again. Everybody thought, okay, this is the real St. Louis. It's still going to be tough for them to make the playoffs. But they responded. And each time this year, they went on a little bit of a slide. They responded. Well, now their season is going to be on the line a week from today in Kansas City. How will they respond? It would take something special, and it would take a complete flip of the momentum of this match, because despite the lopsided scoreline, it's still been all Sporting Kansas City. Again, given away.
They won 17 games, more than any team in MLS expansion history, but they also lost 12. And I raised that question a couple weeks ago. Does this team know who they are? Because when you consistently beat the drum, nobody predicted this, nobody saw this coming. That's fine, but now you're in the moment. You can't be living in the past. You gotta be living in the moment. In the moment, you're the #1 seed in the West. And over the last 4 or 5 weeks, other than the game here at home against Sporting Kansas City, the 22,000 in this building and the St. Louis City fans in the city of St. Louis have not seen the St. Louis City that they saw in the first 15 games of the year.
They do have a corner in the 72nd minute. They need one quick if they want any hope of getting something out of this match, of getting to penalties, which right now would be really the only option as Leuven sends it in. It's flicked away. All the way to Jared Stroud, trying to turn into the feet of Klaus, holding off Davis. Klaus coming around Davis. Klaus! Melia, big save, has not had much to do tonight, but reacted well to an absolute strike from João Klaus. Klaus again, maybe. Rosero there first. Jared Stroud mishits it and out.
Just a wonderful strike here from Klaus, to cutting into his right foot as he takes on Davis, and Dembe there to support. Perfect technique, but even better technique from Tim Melia. Remember in the first half, he gave away a rebound right in front of his goal. Now this one, cleaner, more precise, wide of the goal. Good save from Tim Melia.
Nico Gioacchini comes on for Bradley Cardinal. Edward Leuven comes off. Leuven now on a yellow card. Certainly do not want it to go from bad to worse in that regard. Looking ahead to match 2. And Eric Tommy comes on for Gadi Kinda. So Tommy, nursing a calf injury, coming off the bench tonight, will get 17 minutes plus stoppage time. Kinda with a wonderful goal. And it was that goal, the 3rd goal before halftime, that made it 3-1. And I think really put Kansas City in firm control of this match.
Yeah, I came into the game saying Gadi Kinda would be the X factor.
Wonderful goal.
I thought he was the best player on the field.
Yeah.
I thought he was the most influential. He was very good defending. He was fiery. He was really, really into the moment. He got an early yellow, didn't let that get the best of him, and then scored an absolute worldly of a goal with that left foot that really put the nail in the coffin for St. Louis City.
It's not been much to smile about for St. Louis City supporters tonight. Klaus flicked on, and Dembe was there. Klaus again gets it back. Klaus flicked in towards Joachini. Rosero can send it clear. This works out for Kansas City. Eric Tommy stepping away from Nowinski. Well done from Radoya to get it to Ndembe. Shallowy, Polito. It's Stroud. On the ground to Adeniran. Recovered by Voltaire. Tommy behind Shallowy. And to do this without Eric Tommy, without Johnny Russell. Look, Tommy's getting a little bit of a run at this moment. Impressive from Sporting Kansas City, who will be fully rested a week from tonight for match 2. Bloom goes through the back of Tommy, is called for the foul.
It's amazing how sloppy it is, isn't it? From a City Red perspective.
Yeah, it hasn't been from Kansas City.
No.
And normally, St. Louis doesn't mind kind of a chaotic game. Plays to their style, but if it's them, the only team of the two that's sloppy, that is a different story.
Yeah, but the shape right now is indicative of how Sporting Kansas City, I get it, they're up 4-1 and people at home are thinking, well, wait a minute, that's why they're in. No, that's not the case. They started the game this way.
Yeah.
They picked the right moments to press St. Louis City, and it made them so uncomfortable in possession that it played into Sporting Kansas City's ability to have quality in wide areas, especially down the left, and then scoring 3 goals from 18-plus yards out. Wow.
Blum is going to go into the book. He thought he won it clean. Fifth yellow card of the match.
I mean, I'm not sure I see it. Yeah, I don't see it. No way. That's a yellow card on Blum?
They disagree here at City Park.
Even Polito, did you see Polito's reaction? The players will tell you on the field more than any commentator, more than any fan, they're right there. That becomes interesting for Blum now. If you're Bradley Carnell, I'm taking Blum off.
Yeah, you might as well. Right?
Absolutely. There's no reason to risk the second yellow here. Because right now in moments, players can be forgetful of what's coming 6 days from now. And they get caught up in the moment, in the frustration of the night. I'm getting Blum off the field right now.
He's such an important player for them in the midfield. Bradley Carnell did that with Edward Leuven on a yellow card, got him off. He is preparing 2 changes now. Celio Pompeu and Akil Watts are with the 4th official. out for a Kansas City throw. Here come the two changes. The final two of the night for St. Louis City. Jake Nerwinski will come off for Akil Watts. And Indiana Vasilev will leave for Seliu Pompeu. So Blum stays in this match, as St. Louis has now used all 5 substitutions. And you would think the instructions for Jabulo Blum are just don't pick up another yellow card. With St. Louis trailing 4-1 in match 1 of this round 1 best of 3 series. Forward for Shallowy. Flag is down. Shallowy right at Berkey, who makes the save. Pompeu does well to get around Voltaire just into the match. Klaus. Into Joaquini. Jabulo Blum has a go. Melia sure-handed this time. Holds on.
I'm going to ask you a question. Since Adinarin's come on, has Klaus looked better? More active?
A little bit.
More comfortable?
At the one strike that forced a really nice save out of Tim Melia.
Yep.
That was certainly the most promising moment of the match.
Compared to the first half, when we saw very little from him. And I get it, the scoreline can dictate it, the game can dictate it at times.
Yeah.
But the moment Adinarin came on, there was a different energy from Klaus.
Are you in the mind that it should be Klaus and Adinarin starting match 2 a week from tonight?
In September, absolutely. And Joaquini has the propensity to be very dynamic coming off the bench. But you and I, every single time we've done St. Louis City in this building, you and I have put the formation together, and Bradley Carnell looks at us and say it's a 4-4-2.
Yep.
We're going, and we're going to get right after them and punch them in the mouth in the first 15 minutes. In your first home playoff game, you flip it.
He's got some big decisions to make over the next 6 days before next Sunday night in Kansas City. What will be a must-win match 2 of this best of 3 series for St. Louis. And the Audi 2023 MLS Cup playoffs continue tomorrow with a round 1 doubleheader. Orlando takes on Nashville, 7 p.m. Eastern. Seattle takes on Dallas, 9 p.m. Eastern. On MLS Season Pass, that's the 2-7 matches in both conferences.
How about Orlando City, since League's got 26 points? That's more than any team in Major League Soccer.
They've got to be the most under-the-radar team in great form, I think, in the league right now. Still don't hear much about them, despite them finishing second in the Supporters Shield standings.
Yeah, I agree, but also there's a little history there that in big games they unravel.
Yep.
They get caught up into some of the mind games and baby games that leads them to red cards and whatnot.
They did win the Open Cup final last year, so maybe changing that perception a little bit.
But Duncan McGuire's been a home run.
Yep.
You know, you look at Nashville, only 3 teams in MLS history as an expansion team have made the playoffs in their first 4 seasons in existence. Nashville becomes that 3rd team. But Hani Mukhtar's only got 2 goals in his last 16 MLS appearances. If Nashville's going to do it, which I think they can and is possible, Hani Mukhtar's got to give them something.
Well, we saw it in the Leagues Cup. It was vintage tournament soccer, tournament football from Gary Smith, cup football from Gary Smith, all the way to the final. What a game that final was, losing in so many rounds of penalties to Inter Miami and Lionel Messi, 11 rounds all the way to the goalkeepers. They'll try to channel that version of Nashville SC now in the Audi 2023 MLS Cup playoffs.
And in the other one, I am stunned to read that Seattle's unbeaten in their last 17 games against FC Dallas at home.
They have their number, so to speak. They've met in the playoffs before, several times. It's gone both ways.
But that's a team I don't want to play if I'm
Which one, Dallas or Seattle?
Seattle. Listen, Schmetzer in that group, there's a little feeling around that with Ladero and Rui Diaz that it may be all over for that group. I don't want to play them.
Last dance, so to speak.
Absolutely, I don't want to play them.
We had this discussion earlier in the year. What team is most kind of playoff tested in Major League Soccer?
The answer's them.
It's the Seattle Sounders. Still that core.
Absolutely it is.
Another change for Peter Vermees in Sporting Kansas City. Well, speaking of somebody who is playoff tested, who's seen it all, Roger Espinosa, 14th season in Kansas City, his 16th professional season, will enter for Alan Pulido. Espinosa turned 37 on Wednesday, now making his 19th appearance in the postseason. Started with Kansas City in 2008. I mentioned earlier Graham Zusi, the only player left from the 2013 MLS Cup winning team. That's because Roger Espinosa was winning the FA Cup that year with Wigan. Left Kansas City for a few years, had a lot of success with Wigan, then came back. And is continuing his career for Sporting Kansas City. On to see this one out, to see out what will be a famous win in this rivalry. The first time in the playoffs. 4-1 Kansas City, just completely flipping the results here at City Park on their head. 4-0 St. Louis in May, 4-1 St. Louis in September, but it's 4-1 Kansas City tonight.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, St. Louis City hasn't given up 4 goals in one game all season long.
Don't think so. Nope. They did against Club America in the Leagues Cup here at City Park. That was a rough, probably the worst St. Louis had played all season long. We were here for that one, and it was over from the opening whistle. But not in MLS play or to an MLS opponent. Dinnerin battling Espinosa, writhing around in pain. Ted Uncle gets in between Dinnerin and the Kansas City players and will show yellow to Sam Dinnerin.
Well, the yellow card's given to Dinnerin, late challenge, no argument whatsoever. Anytime defenders, midfielders feel the forwards pressing from behind, they slow it up a little bit, but that was a heavy, heavy challenge from Sam Dinnerin.
It has been a physical game. .29 total fouls between the two teams tonight. What can St. Louis do over the next 6 days to be ready for a must-win match 2 on Sunday in Kansas City?
I don't know. I really don't. I really don't. And the biggest reason why I don't know is the 22 players that I'm looking on the field right now. The team in light blue knows exactly what they're doing, how to go about their business, and how to get the job done. St. Louis City, for the first time this year, now lost 3 in a row.
Yeah.
They don't really know who they are yet, and they continuously tell us that on the outside. Yes, we've won 17 games, but we've now lost 12. They don't know who they are. Bradley Carnell even playing it down, saying, we're playing with house money. You saw my reaction. I said, oh, hang on a minute. You're the #1 seed in the Western Conference. The house money argument is gone. There's a line of expectation. And in our pregame show, you asked me that, and I said, we were here for the home opener.
Yep.
That was a homecoming. Tonight, pressure was on the line, expectation was on the line, and they laid an egg. They laid a flat egg here at home. Sporting Kansas City was the better team.
Regardless of what happens in this series, this is going to be considered a massive success first season for St. Louis
Not
City.
if they lose 3.
You don't think so?
No chance.
A team picked last by nearly everybody.
The sour taste that will be left in their mouth will put a huge dent into what the success is. Listen, 20 years from now,
that's what I mean.
Different.
Yeah.
But when
I don't mean in 2 weeks.
No, I'm saying the next game we do in 2024, if they don't get out of this series and Sporting Kansas City buries them,
All right.
Ask the 22,000 in the building tonight if they're going to feel awesome about winning 17 games as an expansion team when their rival just literally blew them out of the building.
How expectations have changed so quickly in St. Louis, Missouri around their expansion MLS side. A team picked by pretty much every pundit in the preseason to finish 13th or 14th or maybe 11th or 10th in the West.
Yep.
Nobody even had them in the playoffs. They win the Western Conference regular season. They'll be playing in CONCACAF Champions Cup next year. But how much further can they go in the Audi 2023 MLS Cup playoffs? Because after a minimum 2 minutes of stoppage time, they will be trailing this round one best of three series 1-0 with match 2 coming up in a week in Sporting Kansas City, and a chance for SKC to win this series in 2 games and move on to the conference semifinals as the 8th seed.
You know what I mean. Success, sure, absolutely, but you know what I'm talking about. The tone, the feeling around it.
And maybe that might help in a way going into next year, having that motivation.
Fair. I just know from being in this city for the last 36 hours and doing radio shows and TV news shows, the line of expectation, Jake,
it's high.
That changed very quickly the moment they won the Western Conference.
It's a city that rightfully has high expectations for October postseason. St. Louis Cardinals have won 11 World Series, second most of any team in Major League Baseball. They've won 4 in the last 20 years. Papeu to Klaus. Oh, Amelia keeps it 4-1 with a wonderful save.
And it's a little thing nobody's going to talk about, but that save is massive going in to match 2. It is huge. And the reason why, because St. Louis City now knows, well, Tim Mealy is in good form. He's still standing on his head. It's no different than what Berkey did to Kansas City when they were here.
And Klaus sends it over.
Those are little things when you're going in to a second match where you've now got to win on the road in Kansas City, Kansas. Big time save, but a header from Klaus when he rewatches this anywhere to the right or left of Melia, and it's 4-2.
Yeah, it is within the body. And it is over in St. Louis. The 8th seed in the West, Sporting Kansas City, comes across the state of Missouri and dominates their cross-state rival 4-1 to take match 1 of this round 1 best of 3 series. Just their 3rd road win in 27 playoff road matches. Logan Ndembe got it going with a wonderful goal in the 27th minute. It was 3-1 by halftime. It was 4-1 after about an hour. And it was over. Domination for Sporting Kansas City, the first visiting team to take a match 1 so far in this new round 1 best of 3 format. This is the moment of the match presented by JCPenney. It was Kansas City's 3rd goal, Gadi Kinda, to make it 3-1 before halftime.
Player of the match for me. He was up for it, filling in for Eric Tommy. Not in great form, coming off a knee injury last year, but just so smooth and silky in certain spots. 6 defenders from St. Louis City around him, and nobody other than Roman Berkey picking the ball out of the back of the net. That was the nail in the coffin from Sporting Kansas City here at City Park. What a wonderful goal.
Comprehensive performance from the visitors. A veteran team, a playoff-tested team. 4-1. Kansas City takes a 1-0 series lead. We'll wrap it up when we come back.
There are trucks, then there's the truck, GMC Sierra. Available with the V8 engine. The Super Cruise hands-free driving experience. And of course, the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. GMC Sierra. Not just any truck, the truck.
How will I know where to start? Striving for more isn't just for the field, it's for life. Know more with RBC Wealth Management.
Lunch?
Yes, please.
That'll be $23.
Your ad says it's free.
It is for our economy ultimate passengers who paid extra.
I'll just have water.
Okay, cash or card.
For water?
Well, at AT&T, when we offer you our best iPhone deals, we guarantee it. Even on the new iPhone 15 Pro. Check it out, made with titanium.
We do have free movies with the purchase of headphones.
I'll just use my iPhone.
Only AT&T gives everyone our best deals on any iPhone with any popular plan. Guaranteed. Get iPhone 15 Pro on us.
Welcome back to City Park. The Travelers in blue, thrilled, even at this late hour, almost 11:30 Central Time in the driving rain. What a game it was from Sporting Kansas City. 4-1, they opened the scoring in the 27th minute. Logan Ndembe with a wonderful goal that was indicative, representative of how this went for Sporting Kansas City.
Yeah, everything they did was on the front foot. They were excited to be here. They were up for the moment. They were not worried about the occasion. And just 3 quality goals from Sporting Kansas City in the first half. All 3 of them outside the 18. But it was this reaction from Tim Parker that felt like City Park, St. Louis City, they were going to figure it out. They didn't. They were chasing blue shadows. They were chasing blue players. Bad clearances, bad touches. But it was more Sporting Kansas City being up to the challenge, being up for the moment, and just real calm, cool, and collected in those key moments, especially in the final third. My X factor tonight, Gadi Kinda. He had to show up. Polito was going to show up, but this finish from Gadi Kinda reminded everyone that Sporting Kansas City, since May 1st, has been the best team in the Western Conference. More wins, more goals per game, more points than anyone in the West. Gadi Kinda, Daniel Shalaway, and Sporting Kansas City put on a show on the road that silenced a lot of people in St. Louis, Missouri.
Complete and comprehensive from Sporting Kansas City. 4-1 tonight. They dominated the expected goals, battled, and what we highlighted, Taylor, what you highlighted at halftime and throughout this match, maybe the most interesting number, and one of the biggest reasons for the final scoreline, is possession. St. Louis City has had the fewest possession, the lowest possession of any team in the regular season. They don't want to have the ball. Sporting Kansas City made them have the ball, and it worked out perfectly for Kansas City.
But it's not a secret. Minnesota United, Portland Timbers, Real Salt Lake, Seattle Sounders, they all did the same thing in this building. Make St. Louis try to play and dictate the game. That is the recipe of how you can figure out the #1 seed in the West.
Recipe prepared perfectly tonight by Peter Vermees and Sporting Kansas City. Tim Melia did not have much to do until late in the second half. A couple really nice saves to keep the big score line at the level that it was and ended up being. We'll return from St. Louis.
Elie can win MLS Cup with this kick.
Game on the line. How do I make the smart choice? I remember what's worked and what hasn't. This goalie knows exactly where I'm going to shoot. He's smart, but hesitant. I'm not, or I'm right, all in. So let it fly. Continental, the smart choice in tires.
Is it possible to be more capable and more practical? Be able to perform here and here. Make a statement while barely making a sound. And command the road, as well as what lies ahead. How we get there matters.
Ready. I hope y'all ready. I hope y'all ready. I hope y'all ready. Yeah, we still lit.
It's not really home field advantage unless you take advantage of it. Great things happen when you spice it up.
New IHG1 Rewards. 18 hotel brands. One loyalty program that lets you guest how you guest.
Welcome back one final time from City Park in St. Louis, Missouri. The first ever playoff game in St. Louis City's history ended in disappointment for a sold-out crowd as Sporting Kansas City, the cross-state rivals, come and take match one of this round one best-of-3 series 4-1. So here's what the bracket looks like. 5 matches so far, 5 match ones so far. And Taylor, Kansas City, the only away team to get a win in match one, the only team that will have a chance at home next weekend to end the series in 2 games.
Yeah, and you and I watched all the other games, and pretty much chalk dictated the game. The home team dictated the game. It was the exact opposite tonight. Tomorrow night, you got Orlando, Nashville, Seattle, Dallas. I think this is a little bit of a wake-up call for the home teams in Seattle and Orlando to make sure they're up for the challenge from Dallas and Nashville.
Match 2 next Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern, Children's Mercy Park, Sporting Kansas City hosting St. Louis City SC. For Taylor Twellman and our entire crew, this is Jake Sivan. Thanks for watching MLS on Apple TV. For other scores, highlights, and the latest news from around MLS, check out My Sports in the Apple News app. And stay right here. MLS Wrap-Up with Jillian Sakovitz, Andrew Eby, and Kalen Carr breaking down the day in MLS.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.
Some people just know what road to take. Those are the people who know to choose Allstate.
The service road is faster.
Turn left.
Not happening.
He knows better than any GPS, and he'd point you in Allstate's direction.
Go all the way down the road past the big gray warehouse.
Take the next exit. You're not from around here, so you don't know the back roads.
I don't want to be late for the party.
I'm gonna save us 5 minutes.
Some people just know what road to take.
You're on the fastest route.
Those are the people who know safe drivers save 40% with Allstate.
It's not really home field advantage unless you take advantage of it. Great things happen when you spice it up.
We're making Italian beef sandwiches. First, let's prep the meat. No beef. Perfect. First, we're gonna get the ingredients. You can order it with your fingertips. We got tinfoil, right? We get groceries. DoorDash.
Big one today as 8-seeded wild card winners Sporting Kansas City ran rampant all over expansion side St. Louis City in this first of a best-of-3 series at City Park. Welcome on into the wrap-up. Kaylin Carr, Andrew Wiebe. I'm Jillian Sakovitz. We're going to show you those highlights and so much more in just a moment. But let's kick things off on this Soccer Sunday with the Supporter Shield winners, FC Cincinnati, welcoming the New York Red Bulls to town. The first ever game, Kaylin, at TQL Stadium, and it was a dream start for Cincinnati.
Yeah, absolutely. And they played through the pressure, through Barreal, was able to find the space and the class to pick out that back post there with the finish. They had to match that intensity the first 15 minutes. This was a huge goal to put them up in the lead.
From bleach blonde to bleach blonde, Junior Moreno with the ball. Look at that, just a little slip ball, but then it's the focus from Barreal. Knows exactly where he wants to go, gets his head down, right across the goalkeeper. Carlos Coronel, however, probably wants to do a tad better.
What are we betting to get you guys to dye your hair like that?
You're gonna have to pay me a lot more money to get me to
No
put dye in
problem.
my hair. This is a huge mistake for the New York Red Bulls. Watch, Carlos Coronel has to come out, open goal, Lucho Acosta, casual. Doesn't have to put power on it, just curls it in. That's a pass, easy goal.
Yeah, Yearwood has position. He can, then the reaction there from Yearwood, because this ball pops out right there, and you know who doesn't stop? Lucho Acosta steps up, 35 yards out, coolly. You know he's not gonna miss.
Front runner for MLS MVP never stops, 43.5 yards out to make it 2-0 Cincinnati.
Don Baji, give credit to him as well. Starting for Aaron
Always.
Pinza, who was on the bench, chased that one down, sacrificed his body.
This one got chippy, Kaylin.
Absolutely, and you know, Baji was at the center of it. I thought he was a smart card to play out of the deck here. You knew that New York is always gonna try to make it chippy, but you have to say, Cincinnati matched that, stood up to the test. It was right on that edge. You can see that arm getting high there, but they're gonna try to intimidate you, and Cincinnati playing at home where they've been good all season, stood their ground, I thought, and then from there, we're able to show their quality.
Some folks saying that little punch, maybe, I don't know, a push, punch, whatever, could have been a moment for a possible red card. Not for me, not for me. Luquinhas has an opportunity top of the box, just can't quite find the bottom corner. Arms on head, but this is what's missing for the Red Bulls for most of 2023, the cutting edge. And if you don't have that cutting edge against the Shield winners, you are not going to be in position to win games.
And from there, you can see just these second balls were going in Cincinnati's direction. And how about this touch here? I mean, just ridiculous from Barreal, a Puskas nominee, by the way. Looked like he was playing soccer tennis out there, just popped it up to himself, the composure, the technique. I mean, he was just absolutely deadly.
Looks like those videos on Brazilian beaches. Keepy-uppy. The control, the precision, the victory.
The race for Barreal, the final 3-0. Both of Cincinnati's playoff victories now have been over the New York Red Bulls. On Saturday, November 4th, right here on our air, the series will shift to Red Bull Arena in what will be a must-win game for the New York Red Bulls to stay alive in Game 2. Now, let's hear for a finalist of Defender of the Year, Matt Miazga, who spoke with our Kevin Egan and Kindred de St. Aubin.
Matt, as a leader in this group, how pleasing was it for you to see each and every one of your teammates match the Red Bulls when it comes to the grit, the fight, the press? Cincinnati matched them in every category and then had the class to go and score goals.
Yeah, that's what we spoke about earlier in the week, preparing the game plan. We knew that, you know, that's their style is, you know, intensity and aggression and, you know, getting balls forward and fighting for scraps. We said, you know, if we match that, our quality will shine through, and you saw that today.
Lucho Acosta with another beaut, MVP perhaps?
Yeah, I've been saying it, you know, since they started, you know, the discussion. Yeah, he's clearly the MVP. You know, he's having an amazing season, and hopefully now we can continue kicking on and leading off of, you know, his charge and going forward and winning this whole thing.
Matt, congrats on the win tonight. Best of luck next week, and thanks for the time.
Thank you, guys. See you soon.